Hello, everyone. Welcome to our ECSE or Early Childhood Special Education Program. Thank you, mentors and supervisors. You are seminal in our candidates' fieldwork experience as they learn how to be teachers from amazing teachers like you. Our candidates really do find their field work to be one of the most important parts of their credential program. We hear this so much that they are so happy to have mentors that guide them and help making teaching visible and the thinking that goes on in your brain visible to them so that they are able to develop their own teacher identity. They're so happy to have supervisors who have the opportunity to observe them in the field and teaching and practicing skills, and then receive that coaching that is so valuable to them to help them improve and apply what they're learning in our coursework in their field work. And both mentors and our supervisors are so critical in helping our teachers uh, develop their reflective skills, because we know teaching is relationship based. We know it's about being able to think on your feet and respond in the moment. And so by guiding them through reflective practice, we're so happy that our mentors and supervisors are able to help them understand the varied experiences of our students and families, as well as help them develop their teacher identity, help them learn how to respond in culturally responsive ways, and then help them understand their communities within which they're working. Our program has both the Early Childhood Special Education, or the ECSE Preliminary Teaching Credential, and this one is blended with the Master of Arts in Special Education Teaching. We call it the MASSET. This program is a 3-year program with the credential earned after 2 years. And so they are admitted into both that preliminary credential for the ECSE as well as the MASSET, and they choose after 2 years if they go full time. We have part-time options where they can take longer than 2 years to get that credential, but after 2 years they can choose to continue with the master's, or they can just opt out. And our master's is unique in that it is teaching them how to research their own practice. It's called action research. And so it's a really great way to learn how to use data in your teaching practice and use it to improve as a teacher and reflect upon it. And this aligns lovely with the induction programs within the district. So the goal is that their MASSET should align with induction work if they choose to continue with that. Our second program is the Early Childhood Special Education Added Authorization. And this is a 1-year program for those who already hold an education specialist credential for either mild to moderate disabilities or for moderate to severe disabilities. And both of our credential programs, the ECSE and the ECE Added Authorization, require fieldwork that focuses on early intervention, which is infants and toddlers with delays or disabilities and their families, as well as preschool. Starting fall 2022, we will start our new program standards, and our credential will go up to kindergarten as well. For both, for birth up to 5 years old, we cover the full range of disabilities and delays. And so we're really teaching for like the infant and toddler fieldwork. We're teaching them how to coach families, how to understand their individual circumstances, and coach them using adult learning theory to embed their supports for their child and their interventions within their daily routines and activities. And then we're also teaching them how to be preschool teachers. So how do you set up a play-based preschool classroom, just like a typical state preschool or Head Start program? And then how do you then use that typical daily routine that includes circle time and play, and embed your supports and interventions into those daily experiences, using like a classroom matrix that allows them to think about the IEP goals, think about the concerns and supports that a child might need, and then support them throughout the day in natural ways. And so that's really all about this embedded instruction approach. Our program really values inclusive education as a civil right for all children with disabilities, and we do emphasize the importance of presuming competence for all children. So whether or not the child is able to vocalize their ideas or share their perspective, we really presume that all children can learn, all children deserve to belong, all children deserve to be with their community and the friends in their neighborhood and learn alongside their peers. And so we really help our candidates learn how to adjust the environment, adjust their teaching, rather than see deficits within the child that need to be fixed. We don't believe that children need to be ready for preschool inclusion. We believe that programs need to be ready to receive them and support them, that all children have the right to belong. So with that in mind, we have our program requires field work with varying expectations each semester. So we have, since it's a 2-year program for the preliminary credential, 1-year program for the added authorization, our early field work, which is typically either the first semester for the added authorization or the first year for the preliminary credential, the fall and spring semester. Our early field at work experiences really focus on observing best practices. So we really encourage our mentors to open up their doors and then also open up their minds to our candidates to help them peer into what are their, how do you make decisions in your classroom? How do you set up that classroom? How do you support all students? What is your thinking that goes on, especially in the moment? How do you lesson plan, unit plan? And then how do you provide those supports and interventions on a daily basis? And also, how do you write IEPs as well as IFSPs? And so that's part of the role of our mentors. Our supervisors are coaching them along the way, identifying where the students feel they need additional support, and helping them really develop those practices that we're teaching them in the program. And all of their coursework have projects that they're applying in the field. And so we try to be very explicit about what those are each semester, so the mentors and supervisors are aware and really can provide more targeted support. We usually start with more introductory concepts in the beginning of the program, more about how do you collaborate, how do you support families, how do you set up a classroom, and then also how do you write and provide systematic instruction. And then as we move on, it's more about like, how do you collect data? How do you monitor progress of students? How do you respond in the moment? And then as they continue on, it's about unit planning and writing really detailed lesson plans that really support and embed instruction within those lesson plans. So in the early fieldwork, they can focus on infant toddlers and as well as preschoolers. And then they have 2 culminating experiences that they need to complete in our program in order to earn their credential. They have to pass that using our fieldwork evaluation rubric, and they use it every semester they are enrolled in a fieldwork course. And so the preliminary credential students typically are not enrolled in a fieldwork course the first semester, although they are required to do 2 days a week of fieldwork so that they can start to understand early child special education and what it looks like while they're taking their introductory courses. And then beginning their second semester, they enroll in an early fieldwork course. And that's when their triad team comes into play and really supports them. They now have a supervisor in addition to the mentor that they were assigned in their first semester. And now that triad team meets 3 times a semester, beginning, middle, and end, and discusses progress, uses that evaluation rubric. The students use it as a self-assessment at the beginning of the semester, and then they use it as a guide to ensure that they're developing those competencies on that evaluation rubric that they need to demonstrate in order to pass their culminating experiences. So they need to demonstrate those competencies in infant and toddlers work. And so that's typically an early intervention. So that's one culminating experience that they can complete either in the summer or their fall semester if possible of their second year. And then they also, in their final spring semester, the preliminary credential teachers or candidates, they are completing their preschool culminating experience. And so both of those experiences can be completed either as a proper student teacher, where they are assigned a fieldwork site and they are within the mentor's classroom. and or they are a teacher of record and they are completing it as an intern, and the mentor is supporting them within their own classroom or their own work in early intervention. The model that we ask our mentors and supervisors to guide the candidates through, whether they're an intern or not, is this gradual release model. So gradually releasing responsibility to the candidate. So, or taking on in more and more responsibility as the intern. And the goal is that they begin by observing practices, they practice these, like running a circle time or embedding instruction or speaking with a family or coaching families in their homes or doing an assessment or running an IEP meeting or IFSP meeting. So they observe those practices, then they start to practice, take on little pieces of that, and then the gradual releases. By the end of their culminating experiences, they need to have 2 weeks of solo, they call it the solo teaching time, where they are the taking on all responsibilities as the ECSE teacher, and whether it's in their infant toddler work or in the preschool work. And they are demonstrating that they're able to meet those competencies in that fieldwork evaluation, and so that they can pass those culminating experiences for their credential. When it's the added authorization, those experiences happen that the spring semester of their first year, they do their preschool experience, and then in the summer, they complete their infant and toddler experience. So there's a lot more about our program that you can learn more. So please review the materials that I have available for you. You'll learn more about the courses that are offered each semester in our advisement plan. I have a mentor guide for early intervention mentors and preschool mentors, and that is in our mentor guides. We also have a program flyer that gives you a big, broad overview about the program. And finally, I also have a fieldwork handbook that is much more detailed than our mentor guides. The mentor guides is like our cliff notes to our fieldwork handbook. The fieldwork handbook is a good go-to for more detailed questions. And of course, you can always reach out to me. I'm available via email or phone, and I'm more than happy to talk further about the program, hear about your experiences. We are very, very lucky to have such amazing mentors and supervisors supporting our candidates. We know that fieldwork is one of the most important parts of teachers developing their identity, figuring out who they are, how do you teach, how do you support families, and then also preventing burnout by making sure that they understand all the intricacies of the teaching profession. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you.